Hello everyone, welcome back to this video series wherein we are looking at the questions from SAS certification prep guide. In this video, we will see the questions from the chapter which is titled Transforming Data with SAS Functions. So let's see the first question. It says, which function calculates the average of the variables var1, var2, var3 and var4? So we know that we have a procedure called means, so which can be used to fetch the average or the mean values of all the uh, values present in a particular variable. But here in this case, we are being asked to use a SAS function saying that the values present on a particular observation in different variables, we need to get the mean. Say for example, we have four variables, var1, var2, var3 and var4, and we need to fetch the mean of these four variable values into a single one. We can use proc means to fetch the average of values within a particular variable, but when we have this scenario wherein the values are present in different variables, and if we want to fetch the average of all of those four variables on that particular row, we need to use a function. For that, we can use mean function. So this question is, if we are take a quick look at the options, so all of them are using main function. So but the parameters, how the parameters are passed to that main function is differing. So this question is testing our understanding on how we'll have to pass the parameters to the main function if we have more than two variables here in this case. So let us see what is happening. So in the first case it said mean of var1 comma var4. So it uses the non-missing values from var1 and var4 and then gives the average of only these two variables. So but for us we need the uh, mean for all the four variable values. So for that we need to specify all four variables. So if we want to specify individually all four, so we'll have to specify them as var1, var2, var3 and var4. But here only var1 and var4 are listed. So what happens with this case is like only the mean for var1 and var4 would be calculated, and but var2 and var3 will not be considered. So this option is not correct for that reason. So let us go to the second option. So it says mean of var1 hyphen var4. So when we give this hyphen here, SAS interprets it as a minus sign. So what it does is it subtracts the value of var4 from var1. So it will result in a single value. So that mean of single value will be equivalent to that value. So here the var1 minus var1 var4 would be calculated and then main function would be applied to that. So this is not correct for that reason. And then in the third option, what is being said is like mean of var1 comma var4 is said. So here in this case what happens is, again this off is applicable only for var1 and var4. So this will again result in the same value as in first option. So this is not correct for that reason. So let's see the final option. It says mean of var1 to hyphen var4. Whenever we have specified the word off here and then used a hyphen here in between var1 and var4, it interprets it as of all the variables which begin with var1 and ending in var4. So we have this common suffix of 1 and 4 here. So it interprets it as var1, var2, var3 and var4. So this question is basically testing our understanding on the usage of word and how to you make use of it when we have variables ending with a sequential suffix. So the last option is the correct one. Let's go with that and then see if this is the case. It says our response is correct. So let's move on to the next question. So we have a next question which says within the dataset HRD temp, pay rate is a character variable and hours is a numeric variable. What happens when the following program is run? So we have HRD temp, it is being read, and a new dataset called work.temp is being created, in which we have a new variable being created using assignment statement using some arithmetic operation being performed. So pay rate multiplied by hours. So pay rate, they have mentioned it as a character variable and hours is a numeric variable. So arithmetic operation of multiplication is being done. So this is expects two variables to be numeric values. So but pay rate is a character variable in the input data. So when we have this variable data type difference, SAS tries to convert the values to numeric here in this case because the multiplication is an arithmetic operation, so both of them have to be numeric. So as the input data type is character but we are performing an arithmetic operation, SAS tries to automatically convert these values to numeric if possible and then writes a note to the log saying that it has converted that. So let's see the options. So first option says SAS converts the values of pay rate to numeric values and no message is returned to the log. We'll have that conversion message returned to the log. It said the first option said no message is returned, so this is not correct. And then the second option it says SAS converts the values of pay rate to numeric values. A message is returned to the log. So this seems to be okay. So but let's go with the other option. SAS converts the values of hours to character values. This is not the case as multiplication is an arithmetic operation which requires two numeric variables. So there is no point of converting hours to character for multiplication. So this is not correct for that reason. So SAS converts the values of hours to character values. And again, this is not applicable. So this is also not correct. So let's go with the second option and then see. It says our response was correct. Let's move on to the next question. So it says a typical value of character variable target is 1, 2, 3, comma 4, 5, 6. Which statement correctly converts the values of target to numeric values when creating target number. So we have a character variable called target in which the values are like 1, 2, 3, comma 4, 5, 6. So we have comma as the separator for this positions. And then so the question is which statement correctly converts uh, target value to numeric and create a target number numeric variable. So on all the cases target number is being created. So we are looking for conversion of character values to numeric values. So we can achieve that by using input function. So let us see how many options do have that input function. So we have first option with input function and also the second option. In these two we need to take a look at the other options. So we have narrowed down to two options, option 1 and 2, which has both input function used. In the first option, target and then comma 6 dot is used, and in the second option, comma 7 dot is used. So this 6 and 7 actually represent the width of the total number of characters available in the input data. So if we take a look at 1, 2, 3, comma 4, 5, 6, so we have 3 characters here and 3 characters here, and this comma is occupying the seventh position. So the overall width of the data in target variable is 7. So we should be using a width of 7. So option 2 is the correct option. So let us see if that is the case. It says our response is correct. Let's move on to the next question. It says a typical value for numeric variable site num is 12.3. Which statement correctly converts the site num to character values when creating variable location? So previous question was conversion of character to numeric. Here in this case it is numeric to character. So here the typical value they have said it is 12.3 and we want to convert it into character. So let us take a look at the options and then see. So again, so as we have seen like in earlier case for character to numeric conversion we need to use input function, but for numeric to character we need to use put function. So let us narrow down on the options. So we have third option with put function and also fourth option with put function. So we have two options and now see the difference between these two. So here on the put function site num is being specified correctly, and in this case 3.1 is used, and on the last option 4.1 is used. So this syntax of 3.1, what does it say? Means the overall width is 3 characters, so out of which one position is decimal. So we'll have 1 place for decimal and one for dot, and the value is x. So we can at the max represent any value which is in this format if it is 3.1. So this 1 is for one decimal place, and then when we said 1, so which means we need a place for a decimal position, and this 3 indicates the overall width including the decimal place. So how many are left after we are done with one decimal and one position for the dot? So we are left with one position for the integer component. This one will be with 3.1 we can maximum represent with x point x, but if we see the overall width is 4 here, where for 12.3. So for that what can be done is like we can use 4.1. So when we say 4.1, so how does it take it? So one decimal place, which means 1 here, and then as we are representing one decimal, we also will have a dot being displayed, and then the overall width we are saying it as 4. So how many values will be left here for the integer position? So it will be 2. So we had a value of 12.3, so we should use a format of 4.1 because it directly accommodates one decimal and one dot and two characters for the integer portion. So let's go with the last option and then see if this is correct. It says our response is correct. Let's move on to the next question. So suppose the year cutoff is equal to system option is set to 1920. Which MDY function creates the value for January 3rd, 2020? So year cutoff option is 1920, which means the values of two digits will be interpreted from 1920 to 2019. So if we have said it as 20, so it would take it as 1920. So if we are representing a year in two-digit format, 20 would be taken as 1920. So we should look for something which actually accommodates the entire 2020. And the next thing is that we are looking for the month is 1 and date is 3. So in MDY function, the first component has to be the month and the second component has to be the day. So we are looking for the first argument with a value of 1. So we have it here and we also have it here. So on the second option, the second argument for it is D is for D. So third, this is also the same here. On the third option, it is 20 here. On the first option, it is just 20 here, and here in the third option, it is complete 2020. So when we have the system option of year cutoff set to 1920, we know that any two-digit character which we give will be used as 1920. So from 1920 to 2019, it will consider based on the two-digit character. So here 1920 would be coming if we use this syntax. But when we use the entire four-digit year of 2020, so it would give us the date of January 3rd, 2020. So the option is that is correct seems to be third option. Let's go with that. It says our response is correct. So let's go through the explanation once before. Because the year cutoff is equal to system option is set to 1920, SAS sees the two-digit year value from of 20 as 1920. Four-digit year values are always read correctly. So let's go to the next question. So it says the variable address2 contains values such as Piscataway NJ. How do you assign the two-letter state abbreviation to a new variable named state? So here we have a text something as like this, and they said like this NJ is the state abbreviation, and we want to assign these two characters to a new variable named state. And we have been given some options here. So here in this case, so the first one is using scan, first two options are using scan, and the last two options are using substr. So the variable address2 contains values such as, so it is not guaranteed that we will always have the Piscataway, so we will not be able to use substr because the length of this can vary. The length of this text can vary on other rows. So for that we'll have to rely on scan function, which can be used to extract words. So if we have always have the pattern of like name of the city followed by comma followed by state. So the second letter when comma and space is the delimiter will always be our state. So for that we are looking for extracting second word using scan function. So if we take a look at the first option, we have scan address to and the second word. So by default, comma and space are considered as delimiters. So we even if we do not specify the delimiters as comma or space, so nj would be extracted, and this is the case. So here on the second option, if we see scan function is used, but it is saying that it has 13th word. So and then the third argument has to be the list of characters that have to be considered as delimiters. So here this is syntactically incorrect because 2 is specified instead of the list of characters that would be considered as delimiters. And then we have substr function being used. So it said starting at 2. Substr function is used for extracting a string from a specific position of specified length. So if we do not specify the third argument, what it does is it extracts the string from second position. Say for example, in this case, it extracts from I to entire remaining thing till ng. So and then the last option, so substr 13 to 2 is being used. So let's see if this could be syntactically correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this may result in actually producing the result because for this particular observation, wherein the value is Piscataway and NG, because the at 13th position n is starting and from which we are extracting two characters, so which is 13th and 14th would be extracted. So but if we have a next observation which has a different length for the city name, so this would not give us the required result. So but here it is, we are extracting it from a particular variable which may have more than few other observations. So the most appropriate thing would be to use the scan function here. So let's go with that and then see if this is the case. It says our response was correct. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question says the variable ID code contains values such as 123 FA and 321 MB. The fourth character identifies the sex. So in this case F and in this case M. So how do you assign these character codes to a new variable named sex? So we have a variable named ID code in which the fourth character is what we need. So in order to extract a specific character from a string, so we can use substr function. So we are looking for a options which has substr. So third option has substr and fourth option has substr. So and let's take a look at the difference between these two options. So in the third option it said only 4, which is the second argument we pass like what is the starting position from which you want to extract, and here in both the cases it is 4, and third argument is missing in the third option, but third argument is specified as 1. So there is a slight difference. If we do not, if we skip the last or the third argument for substr function, it extracts the string from that position till the end. So here in this case from F to A it will extract, in this case M and B will be extracted, so with the third option. But the last option we are specifying that from position 4 extract one character, so which is exactly what we need. Wanted to extract that F and M and also M from that 321 MB and store it to 6. So the correct answer is option 4. It says our response is correct. Let's move on to the next question. So due to the growth in within 919 area code, the telephone exchange 555 is being reassigned to the 920 area code. 919 is the area code. Exchange 555 is being reassigned to 920 area code. The dataset clients.pymont includes the variable phone, which contains telephone numbers of the form 919-555-1234. Which of the following programs will correctly change the values of phone? So here we want to check the area code and also exchange, and then replace the area code with 920. So which is the first three characters 919 have to be replaced with 920. So but for that it has to match 919 and 515 for 555. So let us take a look at the cases. So here in the first option it said area code is equal to, so the first three characters are being extracted, and then exchange is being extracted from fifth position. So 919 is three characters, hyphen is fourth, and the fifth position is for this exchange. So area code and exchange are being extracted. And after that, what is being said is if area code is equal to 919 and exchange is equal to 555, so then scan function is being used on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side 920 is being used. So we cannot use scan function this way to replace values. So we have two options to replace values. So we can either use transword function or substr function on the left hand side of the is equal to sign. So we are looking for an option which has substr or transword. So here in this case, so phone and scan function is being used on the right hand side. So this does not actually replace characters. So we can only extract characters. So using scan function. So transword can be used to replace. Substr when used on the left hand side can be used to replace. When used on the right hand side of the is equal to sign, it actually extracts the strings. So we are looking for an option that contains substr on the left hand side. So let us take a look at, so we have substr on the left hand side and substr on the right hand side. So what happens is with this syntax, so let us take a look at the option which has substr used on the right hand side. So it is actually assigning the value from first position to, it will extract the string from first position three characters, which is from 920 first character to three characters, which is still 0. So phone will have a value of 920 with this syntax. So here in this case, like when substr is used on the left hand side of the is equal to sign, so what we are trying to do is from the existing value of the phone, so we are asking it to be replaced from first position to third position with the value of 920. So when area code is 919 and exchange is 555, so we are asking substr function to replace the values in phone variable with the values of 920 from position 1 to 3. So in position 1 to 3 we would have 919, and that would be replaced with 920 with this syntax. So this question is testing our understanding on the usage of substr function on the left hand side and right hand side. So third option is the correct one. So let us go with that and see. It says our response was correct. So it says the substr function replaces variable values if it is placed on the left hand side of an assignment statement. When placed on the right hand side, as in question, the function extracts a substring. So let us move on to the next question. So suppose you create a character variable full name by concatenating the values of first name, which contains the first names, and last name variable which contains the last name. So what is the best way to remove extra blanks between first names and last names? So what happens when we use concatenation operator or the pipe operator to join two things? So if a variable has a length of 10 characters, say for example, and if the values are in ABC. So by default in character variables, the remaining width would be padded with trailing spaces. So when we concatenate them using pipe operator, so the next value would get concatenated only after this 10th position. So which has that trailing spaces. So trailing padded spaces. Say for example, so ABC is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So when we are trying to concatenate some other additional text to this variable, so that concatenation would only happen after the 10th position. So we'll have some additional spaces in between these two. So but the question is, what's the best way to remove blanks between these two, first name and last name? So in this case, so we can apply trim function on the first variable and concatenate the values. So if we are taking a look at the options, on the first option we have trim of first name concatenated with a space in between and then last name. So again, last name will also have some trailing spaces, but again that is not a cause of concern for us. So this option will work, and it is more they say it is more efficient to not to apply additional functions when it is not needed. So this will also give the same result, but because if we are trimming off the spaces from here and also from the right hand side, but as this is the last component, even if we trim or do not trim, this will give us the same result. So let's go with the second option, which is slightly more efficient because we are not applying a function when it is not needed. So let us go with second option and then see if this is actually the case. It says our response was correct. So let us move on to the next question. It says, within the dataset furniture.bookcase, variable finish contains values such as ash, cherry, teak, matte black. Which of the following creates a subset of data in which the values of the finish contain the string walnut? So make the search case insensitive. So we are looking to subset the observation which contain the string walnut in the variable finish. So we are looking for a syntax which looks something like this: if finish, and then we are looking for the text walnut. So and they have also mentioned that this has to be case insensitive. Say for example, if finish may contain walnut or any other combinations of the text cases, so we still want to subset. So the best way to do that is convert these values into the same case and how you want to extract. Say for example, you can convert the values of finish to all uppercase and specify the string as walnut in all uppercase. So or convert this to lowercase and then specify the string you want to search in lowercase. Or similarly, you can apply other similar logics. So in the first option, if we see finish is being spread, index function is being used, and walnut is specified. So here no quotes are specified. So this assumes that we are searching for the value present in walnut variable in finish variable, but we do not have the variable walnut in the input data. So we are looking for the explicit string of walnut. In that case, we need to specify it in quotes. So quotes are not present here. So and again similarly on the third option, we do not have the quotes present. So here we have quotes present for the string. So here in the second option, index on finish variable is being used and walnut is applied, but we had an additional requirement of case insensitivity. So for that we need to convert. Say for example, if there was a row in which walnut is present in this way, so this would not filter the rows because we are exactly searching for the string which has walnut in lowercase. So we need to convert that to either uppercase or lowercase. On the last option, we have this same result. So the values in finish are being converted to lowercase and then compared with the walnut in lowercase, and it is specified in quotes. So this will give us the required result. So let us go with that and then see. It says our response is correct. Thank you for watching and keep learning.